Hi, I'm Nicolai and this is the third hand-in for the Procedural Programming course at Aalborg University. The task is that you have to make a slideshow with a lot of transitions. You have to program transitions with your earlier projects, not necessarily related to Aalborg University. Let's take a look at my projects through the time. We have the just alpha theta, for instance. Then we have the scroller from top to bottom. A rainbow curtain, or RGB curtain if you like. I like the word rainbow. An RGB transition. From top to bottom, from top and bottom. And that was also a fade alpha transition. Scrolling down. Basically, I have 6 transitions. Fading from image to black to image again. Not the same as alpha, but almost the same. Rainbow curtain again. And we're back to square one. Yeah. Alright. First of all, I have the header file that contains some public functions that I use in here. Setup, update, and draw. Then it contains my images. I have 11 in total, and of texture. Basically, I set up some integers and chars that I have to use in the main file. Not that one, but that one. Yeah. Let's go to this one. For instance, I have unsigned char as slideshow, which is an array, which I will make in this one. Here I have my array, which picks up my files, my images from the folder I have them in. It says the background to 0, which is black, which I, for instance, use in the fade to black and then to image again. And then I have the slideshow array, which tells them to get the pixel to get the full image. Yeah. It takes allocate. This is, I basically I set the variables, the integers, to be 0 at first. The total pixels is the size of the image, the size of the screen, which is 1200 pixels times 600, and then times 3, because RGB colors works in 3 colors. And here I allocate the texture to be the size of the screen, and tell it to get the RGB color code. Then I set the data to be a new unsigned char, which equals to total pixels. And the data I will use in the code. Yeah. First of all, we have at the bottom we have a counter which always counts 1 up for each millisecond, I think it was, but yeah, it counts anyways. And every time it counts to 250, it runs this if function. It starts with 0, and if the counter is above, then it initializes this if function, which tells it to +1 in the current image, which is our image. That means it goes to the next image, and it sets the counter to 0, so we can use it again. Alpha to 0, animation to 0, and it clears all vectors, which I will use in the last function, the rainbow curtain. Then we have the switch function, which takes the current image, which is our image, in modulus with 11, because I have 11 images, and then it makes a case for each of the images in the switch function. For instance, if the current image is equal to 0, then we have the first image, and it gives it an alpha transition, which will be declared here, and also with the case 5, which is the fifth image. And what this alpha transition is that it fades one picture to another picture. Basically, it has a for loop, which says that we make a new integer, which is I, that we equal to 0. It says that every time that I is less than the total pixels, which was declared in a earlier integer, then I should be plus by 1. And then we have a big equation here, which is basically our alpha equation. And then we declare the speed down here. This can be actually any number depending on how fast you want the transition to be. And that's basically it with the alpha transition. So let's take a look at the RGB transition. It is for the third and the seventh picture. What we say here is that every time that the animation have to be less than 3, and that is because we have to take all the colors from the RGB code and only use it for those. In here, for instance, we have that anytime it goes through a color, it adds 1 to the animation, which is that it only does this as long as every color has not been produced or changed. For instance, we have here that I is equal to animation, and I have to be less than total pixels. In short, we take all the red colors at first plus equals to 3. That is all the red colors, and then we make this equation that we have up here as well to the red colors and fade them away. And then we have the alpha also, which basically is the speed. The reason I didn't make it to 1 is because I got a bug when I set it to 1, so I just put it to this. I'm a lazy man, I know. And then it adds 1, and then it takes the blue colors, for instance, and the red and the green colors, and when it's at 3, it stops, and that's the RGB transition. Then we have the scroll from top transition. Let's take a look at it. Set this to case 0 and deactivate this one. Then we can take a look at it. Let's see. Then we have this smooth transition from top to bottom. Really clear lines. Let's see. What it basically does, that it makes a for loop, which makes an equation for the new image, and it makes a for loop with an equation for the old image, and then it just fades it away, like it just fades the other image aligned with the new image. Yeah, and this is just the speed It's something I've been messing around with, and I found this number which I found suiting for this fade. Let's see another transition, fade image to black and to new image again. It's basically the same as the alpha transition. We have the only thing different from it is that I actually separated those two transitions into two transitions. Yeah. First of all, I start out with only making a transition for the first image, for the old image, until it's faded to 1, until it's completely gone. And I've done that a little faster than the other because I didn't want the transition to be that long. And then when then we have in an if function, we have in an if function that if the animation is equal to 0, it will run this. Else, when this is over, it will go to the else, make the animation to 1, and it will go to this else function, which is the transition for the new image. Yeah. Then we have the fading image from top and bottom. Let's see if we can make this. If I can just show you this one. Alright. I basically did the same with the fading from top to bottom. This time I also added a bottom fader. This is actually the same as the fade from top to bottom, but then I added that it have to fade from the bottom as well by adding the total pixels minus 1. Yeah, I just wrote total pixels minus 1. Then it takes it from the bottom and up. Then in the animation, then I divided it with 2. Then it would fade only to the middle. And then this is just the speed as well. Let's see, the rainbow curtain, which is this one. Let's see. Yeah, rainbow. Alright. Alright, this rainbow curtain function, it contains a switch function within it that has two cases, case 0 and case 1, which acts on the animation. In this case 0, for instance, we make an animation, we make the animation to 1, which sends it directly to the first case. In here we have the pushback, which stores all the pixels in the vector. I included a vector in here, which is another function. Then I use the random shuffle, which acts on what I included up here, algorithm, which is basically a random algorithm, which is not that random. I find it not that random. It have to have a begin point and an end point, and yeah. Then it says the animation to 1, it goes to 1, which will where it have its it have the equation for the rainbow transition. This is the speed for it, which I set to 30,000, which I found suiting, and yeah, that's basically it. Then we have at the end, it will load the data, the texture, the images, and here you have the counter, which I explained at first, and then we will draw the images on the screen. Yeah, thank you for watching. This is Nicolai Buch. Have a nice day.